Go ahead and get started with our webinar. We have a lot of people, I'm sure, logging in the first 5 minutes, but let's go ahead and get this party started. First, I want to thank all of our leaders on the call that invited people to this webinar. We are calling it the mother of all closing webinars. So we're hoping this is going to be the biggest one. And so my name's Tasha. For those of you that don't know me, we teach people how to sell stuff. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about your struggles with closing. It's important to have an honest conversation about that. You're probably wondering, who the heck are these Emerge people and why are they qualified to teach us anything? It's a super valid question, I think. So we'll talk about that a little bit, go over an overview of what closing is and isn't, and some 5 areas to make closing an enjoyable process for you and your customer. Since we have a couple of leaders on right now, maybe it would be helpful just to, if you could unmute yourself just real quick and just say, why did you invite your team to this? I see, Rachel or Lisa. Or Lisa, would you like to just share real quick about why are you rallying the troops? And what have you experienced?
For me, I've finished the Direct Sales Foundation workshop, and I'm in the middle of the leadership workshop. And just for me personally, there's been so many mindset shifts that, like 180 degrees. And we're doing things that we knew we were supposed to do for a long time. And it's just totally changed our business at this point. And so we have a whole bunch of leaders that we tried to bring on board by ourselves right away. And it didn't work so well. So we're encouraging everybody to just jump on these workshops, because you just learn so much.
Cool.
It shifts your business.
Cool. Thank you so much. And so thank you to everyone who invited people. So let's just go ahead and jump in. How does that sound? If you are muted and stuff, just go ahead and raise your hand and we can move you over. Let's talk a little bit about this whole concept of selling kits to people. So I'm sure everyone here, right, selling essential oils. We do one-on-ones and classes, but what's hard about making the actual sales? So for those of you that are live, go ahead and unmute yourself, or you can participate in the chat. So what's hard about making sales? Someone brave is going to have to go first. Price, so just dealing with affordability things, that's what is in the chat. Melissa's making fun of me for wearing makeup. It's because I got a bunch of zits from all the work you guys are making me do. So I had to put on a little foundation. Okay, so not sounding salesy. My people who are on video, can you give me some love here? What's hard about making sales? People on the replay can't see the chat, so help me out.
Making the initial calls to set up the appointments.
Okay. Thank you, Leilani. Setting up appointments. Andy in the chat says being that girl, and we have another one that says not wanting to be salesy. What does salesy mean to you? What do you think?
That sliminess, like when you talk to somebody and the only reason why they're talking to you is they're trying to sell something to you.
Sure. So it's kind of selfish, like you don't care. I see in the chat unnatural. We don't want to be pushy. Pushy. Okay, cool. It's hard because they don't want to spend money. Okay. What else do we have? What else is hard about making sales? Go ahead, Andrea.
I need to talk to my spouse.
Okay, we'll talk about that one today. So that's kind of just the affordability stuff. And then, does anyone get tongue-tied when that happens? Yeah, okay. So can I write down that one hard thing about this concept of closing is not even knowing what to say? Does anyone else here, like you're jamming through the product and you're killing it, and then you get to the end and it's just awkward? Anyone? Yeah? Okay. So it's a little awkward. Maybe not even knowing what to say. Let's see, what else do we have going on in the chat?
I think in our situation, sometimes we feel kind of vulnerable. Like, I really like this stuff, and you don't like. If you don't like it, you're going to hurt my feelings. You know, it starts to get on a more personal level when it shouldn't.
Oh yeah, so just dealing with afraid of rejection.
Yes.
That's a good point, Melissa. Thank you. Okay, so and then the friends and family. Okay, does anyone have a hard time navigating that? So kind of to Melissa's point, I love you so much. You need to have this stuff, but also still invite me to the birthday party. Okay, anyone? All right. Okay, so I'll put down friends and family too. Okay, so what else do we have? Research, maybe people. Do you ever feel like you have to convince someone that this stuff works? Yeah? Yeah, no? Okay. Yeah? Yeah, okay, cool. So here are some of the things that I wrote down as far as what makes it hard to make sales, and this whole closing thing. Okay, get it later. We'll talk about actual objections in a moment. Price, I don't want to be pushy. It's awkward talking about spending money. Don't want to sound salesy. They have to talk to their spouse. Setting up appointments is hard. It's awkward when transitioning. I don't want people to think I'm unnatural. I don't care about them. Being vulnerable. You know, if they reject my product that I love so much, or even just me, navigating the whole friends and family thing, people that want to research or get it later, or not even knowing what to say. Is that a pretty comprehensive list of what makes this challenging? Okay, I put taking too long. Okay, awesome. I see there's a lot of concern around being wanting to come across authentic, right? So we don't want people to think a certain way about us, and does that stifle you? Like, yeah, okay. Awesome. So I think we're going to be able to make a lot of headway on each of those feelings for you today. My goal is by the end of this is not going to be like a teaser webinar. I'm going to give you an hour and about 10 minutes of our best stuff. I can't teach you everything in an hour. So we do have a training program that I'll walk you through at the end. If that seems like it's a good fit for you, then we definitely want to have you sign up for that, because we have seen just amazing results. So let me just give you a little bit of background on where we came from, because it's really relevant to the way we train and the way I want you to think about helping customers. Okay, so I am not an active doTERRA wellness advocate, but do not hang up on me right now, because I have one redeeming quality, and that's that I'm a very active doTERRA customer. And so how I got into this is my background is in sales and sales training. So I have been training salespeople or selling for the last, I think it's now, this 2 weeks ago, we'll have made it 18 years. So I started when I was 8, if you guys are all doing the math correctly. But really, I grew up selling knives. Who knows about Cutco knives? Yeah, Cutco knives? Okay, cool. So I grew up in college. I was that kid selling knives to people. And when I graduated from college, I got promoted to be a district manager. So my job was to teach 18-year-old kids how to sell $1,000 sets of knives to housewives and get, I don't know, 10 to 20 referrals so they could do it again and pay for college. So that was my job. And I did that for a few years. I personally have sold over $120,000 worth of knives through referrals only. and my offices sold over $1.2 million. But then it was time to get a real job. This was way back before direct sales was cool. It's cool now, but it was not cool back then. So I went in and I got a corporate job. So I was a sales trainer, a sales manager. I was a sales manager for, I think, 8 or 9 years. And I had capped out at my pay. I was doing really, really well, but I was staring down the next 30 years of my life in the same job, doing the same thing over and over again. And for those of you that can see behind me, I have small children, which changes a lot of things. So my kids right now are 5 and 7, which means 2 years ago they were 3 and 5. So I live in Southern California. I was driving 1 hour and 15 minutes each way to a job where I could not increase my pay. I could not promote because of the landscape of the company. And I had small kids. What do you think about that? Lame, right? So I thought, well, I have to do something because I'm not going to spend the next 30 years in the same thing. I wanted to grow. So I thought, well, I don't know what I mean, all I know how to do is teach people how to sell stuff. So I threw up a website, put up a podcast, and was just kind of playing around. And I ran into one of my friends. Her name is Catherine, at karate one day. Our kids do karate together. And she nervously comes up to me, and I think her eyes were closed, and she hands me a little card, and she invites me to an essential oil class. And so I look at the thing, and to give you a little bit more background, my dad is a doctor, my in-laws are pharmacists. This kind of stuff is not even close to on our radar, but I see that she's selling something. And so I snarkily respond, well, I will come to your class if you listen to my podcast. And so she's like, okay, that's a deal. Who would make that deal? Listen to a podcast? Yeah, someone. All right, cool. So I ended up being the winner in the whole exchange because she texts me later and she says, hey, I think I might want to hire you. And I didn't know what I was doing. So I just threw out a number. We were going to start coaching together. So I go to her class, and I have Catherine's permission to tell this story, so don't worry. Would you guys like to hear the experience of a class from a customer's perspective? Would that be helpful for you? Yeah? Okay, cool. So I go to the class, and guess how many other customers are at the class?
2.
Andrea says 4, someone says 2, right? And some of you know, I'm the only customer at the class.
Oh, great.
Right?
Right.
So, but there's 3 wellness advocates because we have Catherine, we have her enroller, and then we have her potential new builder. I go into the class, we have to wait for the other people, so I get a Zyto scan. So I have a 3-page report on all the essential oils and supplements my body needs. And I don't know what an essential oil is yet. We go to the class, they tell me everything about essential oils. I don't really remember much of anything. At the end, I said, what should I get? My 3-year-old Haley, at the time, she was losing her mind. So we got some Serenity, and we got some Deep Blue Rub because of my commute, and I paid the $35 membership fee. But the best part about that class is that I won the drawing. And so I won the drawing. I got Breathe. And did you know that stuff is amazing? It's amazing. And so I took the Breathe, and I put it on Zoe that night because she was on allergy medicine every single day, and she was 5. And did you guys know that she doesn't need it anymore? And I was like, what is this stuff? So I go to work on Monday, and I go to work, and they're like, well, how was your weekend? And I tell them how my weekend was. And I said, I bought hippie oils. And they said, no way, you bought hippie oils? I said, yeah, I bought hippie oils. They said, okay, we'll get some too then. Now, at this point, I realized I needed a kit. And so I ordered a kit. I ordered a bunch of stuff for my friends on a one-time order. Right? Because I did all that like a few days before my wellness consult, which she had scheduled perfectly. And so Catherine did everything right. But it was still a little iffy kind of the whole way, right? It was hard, is really what we noticed. And so I started coaching Catherine. She went from making $50 a month for 2 years straight to earning $450 that next month. So then her enroller paid attention, and I started coaching her enroller, and she enrolled 12 people in 1 month. And so then I started coaching her enroller, and the next enroller up who paid attention happens to be a Blue Diamond. So I started coaching her husband one-on-one, and then I coached all her silvers. And I think there's a couple of you that are on this call that were in that very first group that I did. That group of 30 silvers and above, when we went through their group coaching program, they went from 396 enrollments in September of last year to almost 800 enrollments in October. So then her enroller paid attention, and then her enroller paid attention, and we really haven't slept since, hence the zits, hence the makeup. And I think the reason that it's really gone so well, have you noticed that the Home Essentials kit has sold out 4 times in the past 6 months? Who's noticed that? Exactly. And here's why what we're teaching is catching on like wildfire, because I am not your upline who is telling you to sell more stuff. I am your customer who is begging you, for the love of God, will you please sell us kits? Please. Because I can't do anything with an education. Right? And I know that like a lot of the stuff we're going to talk about today is going to feel kind of controversial and edgy, but I think deep down it's going to make sense to you. So my kids are 5 and 7. If my kids are puking, my dad's a doctor. Can he do anything for me? Says, hang in there. You'll be fine. But I can't help her with my education. Can I take this piece of paper, rub it on her belly, and make her feel better? Not going to work. What do I need? Somebody should know.
Digestin.
I need Digestin. Now, do I need to be educated on it? I probably also need On Guard, Melaleuca, and oregano, correct? For her immune system.
Correct.
Okay, but it's 10 o'clock at night. So if I order it, now that I've been educated, when's it going to come?
2 to 3 days.
Oh no, that's too late. I need it on my dresser now, right? I need to be able to walk over to my dresser, grab the stuff, and help my kid. And so who here believes in the life-changing properties of your product? Yeah. So I'm going to argue that you have a moral and ethical obligation to learn how to sell well. Because what I need as a customer is I don't need to know how they work. I need to actually own them, right? Because it's only when I own them that I can use them. And it's only when I use them that I can solve my problems. But the problem is we don't want to learn how to sell. Who here has said, I am not a salesperson? No way. Yuck. Sales is icky. Sales is gross. I am not a salesperson. And so we run away from sales training. I'm not, and some of you are super skeptical about all of the stuff that we talk about because you know it's sales training, right? You're probably coming to this webinar like, yeah, okay, we'll see closing. Gross, right? And so we run away from sales training and we go over here to mindset training. There's tons of it out there, and mindset training has its place. It's important. But if you don't learn how to sell, what you're left with is telling your story and following up, right? And the reason we don't want to sell is because we don't want to come across as that person, right? High pressure, pushy, talking about themselves. So we're left with tell your story and follow up. Here's the problem. Is there anything more high pressure and pushy than talking about yourself and following up until someone buys or dies? Yeah. And so in an effort to not be that person, who have we accidentally become? Go ahead, Rachel. You can hear. I'll unmute you.
We become that ucky salesman.
Yeah.
We become that guy that you're trying to buy your car from and you don't want the car he's trying to sell you.
Yeah. We become that person when we don't know how to do it properly. Because it's not sales that is the problem. It's untrained salespeople who are the problem. Has anyone here ever worked with a good salesperson? Okay, so go ahead and unmute yourself. How does that feel? Paula or Britt or Andrea or Ruth, if you want to unmute yourself, tell me, what does it feel like to work with a good salesperson? Oh, here, Ruth, go ahead. You want to chime in, right?
I would like to, but I don't know if I have my things done properly over here.
Yeah,
So,
we can hear you. We can hear you great.
okay. Hi. And I don't know that in my mind, I don't need to be a good salesperson. I need to be a good listener.
Sure.
And I need to be someone who is paying attention to what someone is saying to me so that I can give them what they need and I can help them with solutions. And so I don't look at what I do. I am a salesperson, clearly, but I don't look at myself as a salesperson or a sales rep for the company. I look at myself like I'm someone who's trying to help give you other opportunities and a better way, a more holistic way to make changes in your life that will benefit you, your family, your friends in a way that you're I don't know how to say it. It's there's an art teacher at my school and she is the biggest skeptic in the world. And I've worked with her for 3 years and everybody knows what I do. And she had a headache and she goes, "Oh, Ruthie, it's not going to work." And I said, "Okay, Andrea, that's fine." And she looks at me and she goes, "Will it?" I said, "Well, the truth is you're never going to know unless you try it." So I don't push, but at the same time, I do remind people constantly that I do have something that could help you. So is like that's what I remind and listen.
Sure. Sure. And I think that's fair. I think there's also a place where we need to be able to communicate our message in a way that helps that person get a kit, not 3 years from now. But
Right. No, but I mean, but
that's what
she
we're
actually,
going to talk about today is how to do that.
yeah, and she actually tried it that day, bought the kit, and is buying her second kit, like as we speak. So it, you have to, people have to be willing to be open-minded.
Sure. Well, we're going to talk about techniques on how what we can do, the part we can control. That's
Right.
what we're going to focus on today is to help those processes along for people that struggle with helping the customers get the kit. So I'm going to give you some really great things that I think are going to help you a lot to even enhance what you're already doing, Ruth. And maybe some of the stuff that we talk about today, you are already doing, which means that you're right on pace. So we'll see. You might go through this stuff and you're like, sweet, I am right on track. Or you might go, oh,
Right. And right.
So
You
yeah,
can always learn something. So thank you for doing this.
yeah, you're welcome. I think, the point is when you're talking to a great salesperson, you feel, right, Britt says, asks a lot of questions. You feel cared for, right? And that's the kind of people that we want to be, is the one that cares for people and listens to them, to Ruth's point, right? We really want to be focused on the customers. And a good salesperson focuses on the customer. So our philosophy, right, although we talk about sales and closing is just something that is just helping someone do something they already want to do. It's not trying to convince them to do something they don't want to do. That's what people think sales is. Or we think closing is get the sale at all costs, right? But closing, in my opinion, and that's why we use it we use it all the time and we're not uncomfortable with it, is because the way I look at closing is it's just helping someone move forward on an action they already want to take. Who can buy into that, right? Helping someone move forward. Okay, awesome. The other reason I think a lot of people resist sales training is because a lot of sales training is reactive. So what do I mean by reactive? Has anyone ever heard the term overcoming objections? Okay, and it's like, oh, you could have a frappuccino, explaining to the customer while they're wrong. It's just a frappuccino a day. Does anyone here like to do that? No, to me it feels like arguing with the customer at the end on why they should buy. That's not fun. That's reactive. That's after they've already said no. The other type of reactive approach that we hear a lot about, and I think causes some resistance to sales training, is the follow-up strategy. Right? How many sales trainings have you gone to that talk about follow-up, follow-up, follow-up? How many times have you been taught to follow up? 5? I see 7.
5 to 12.
3. Katie says 10. Okay, so this is what this feels like. How about now? How about now? How about now? How about now? What about now? What about now? How about now? How about now? We're only at 7, guys. Now, follow-up strategies do work after several months, right? You've had that happen where they follow up and then it's been like 6 months and they buy their kit and you're like, yes, an enrollment, finally, you want to do the business? And they're like, hold on, you want me to give away free stuff, follow for 6 months to make $22? That sounds amazing. Sign me up. Yeah? Is that how they respond? No, because nobody wants to do that. Who likes to follow up 7 to 10 times to make one sale?
No way.
Me neither. I'm super lazy, guys. And so we teach proactive closing. Don't we already know the reasons customers don't buy? Right? Who's been selling doTERRA for more than a day or 2? Yeah, okay. So let's do this. Instead of being surprised at the end, let's make a list of all the reasons that customers don't buy. Lay it on me. Earlier we said spouse. I remember that one. Think about it. Came up. What else? Go ahead and unmute yourself for the people that are on the replay.
Sometimes
They're
during
over-
classes, I feel like I run out of time. So I've spent so much time talking about the oils. Then when it comes to enrollment, people are already looking at their watches. I've got 6 or 7 people there, and then they're like, oh, I'll just touch base with you later. I got to go.
Yeah. So run out of time. Kind of, I think about it too. Go ahead. I hear something.
Money's too tight.
Yep. Okay.
They feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Sticker shock.
Okay. Sticker shock. What else?
I can go to the discount store and get it cheaper.
Get it somewhere else? Cool. What else? Missy or Kristen?
The only
what's
thing-
in the chat? I'm having a hard time keeping up. Go ahead, Ruth. What else do you hear?
The only thing that I've really ever heard is that it's too expensive. And when you explain to them that, you know, the amount, that one drop is a dose, they kind of get it, but they don't always get it. And, you know, I
Okay,
mean,
so
you're going to
I
teach
hear-
us.
Yeah, I hear too expensive. Okay, I got that one.
Tasha, we have a research. They want to
Okay.
do some research.
Cool.
They don't want to pay the $35.
Yeah, which is really,
Yep. Okay, I got it. $35. Let's just do the list because we have 176 people.
Yeah.
So let's just so shoot me your answers and we'll get there.
Unsure on how it works.
Okay, I don't know how it works. Maybe 1 to 2 oils. Anyone said I only want to buy 1 or 2 things?
yes.
Overwhelmed with info.
Yep, we got that one. Research. No, I wrote that one already. How it works. Does it work? Probably won't use them all. Afraid to commit to this hippie thing. I don't want to sell. This is like MLM issues, right? There's a few of
I
them.
don't want to be a rep.
Yeah.
That's one I just got.
Yeah, like, am I going to get roped into selling? Okay, that's sometimes a concern. Pyramid scheme, is it a scam?
No
Yeah, okay.
time to meet.
Yeah, okay, so I don't even have time to meet. What about I don't even have time to learn how to use all this?
Right.
I think we have a pretty good list here. So here's what I wrote down. I need to talk to my spouse. I need to think about it.
Oh, yeah, spouse.
Money is tight. I need to research it. I don't know how it works. Does it work? 1 to 2, I only want 1 or 2 things. I don't have time to learn how to use it. I'm overwhelmed. We kind of already have money is tight / afford, right? Which is money stuff. I can get it somewhere else. I don't like this fee. I don't want to be a hippie. I don't want to sell. Is that is that a pretty good list? Okay. So we have a saying
Excellent.
here at Emerge. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me every day of my career, shame on me. So if we already know that these can't come up, what if we just eliminated them from the get-go? So at the end of our appointment, they didn't come up. Would that be helpful? Right? And so we just get in and they just buy.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's revisit these at the end and let's see if they still hold up. So are you ready for the 5 tips? All right.
Ready.
Let's do it. Okay, tip number 1, set up an appointment. Set up an appointment. So don't sell on the fly. So what is selling on the fly? Selling on the fly is you go to the park with your doTERRA hat and your doTERRA backpack and your doTERRA keychain. And then what luck? What comes up in conversation?
doTERRA.
Hooray! So they ask a question.
Allergies.
So they ask a question, then what do?
We
go
scare them
right
off
in.
and tell them everything about it.
Yeah, we sure do. Everything they would ever need to
Everything.
know, right? And what happens to their face?
It drops to the floor.
And then what do? We double down. We talk faster and give more information. And then what happens to them?
They get turned off.
Do they buy a kit?
No.
Who misses out the most?
They do, actually.
They do, right? Because now they don't have a kit and now they can't solve their problems. And so let's not do that, right? We know that that doesn't work, that doesn't help. What if instead we set up an appointment? I want you to imagine that your essential oil business is growing super fast, so fast you need a virtual assistant to help you with all your admin. But you're really worried because you don't know the first thing about contracts. You go to a wedding, and what luck, it's your friend's wedding, and you meet a contracts lawyer. Does the contracts lawyer tell you every single thing about contracts at that wedding that you need to know?
No.
Why not?
Because
you guys are there to have a good time, not sell stuff and buy stuff.
Yeah, it's not the right place. Would I be able to make a decision?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, Ruth.
No.
I can't make a decision. You're
Yeah,
friends in the park?
Yeah, it's inappropriate.
Yeah, can they make a decision in the park about essential oils? No, right?
No,
Just
not
the
really.
same way that you can't, right? And so that lawyer, what they do is they say, well, let's set up an appointment and let's get a dedicated
That's right.
time and talk about this for reals. And so what if we did that instead of, not my words, most other words, like showing up and throwing up, I think is what someone said once. What if instead of doing that, we said, and Kristen's going to put this in the chat. What if we said, okay, well, usually what I do is set up an appointment. We'll go over your health goals, a little bit about the company and the most popular kits. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it. My part will take about a half an hour. Is that something you'd be open to? How do you think most people would respond to that?
Very positively, actually, they do.
And why?
It's only a half an hour.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, and I know a lot of you on the call have had success with this. So would you mind unmuting real quick and tell us, why does this work? What kind of responses have you been getting?
I actually had a really great month in May. I I was very sick in June. I hurt my back, so I haven't really done much in June. I haven't been able to get around, but in May I actually signed up 26 people by
Awesome.
doing that. Because I was taught to do that, and it works. And you can sign up, like you can set up appointments for people that work together. So you can say, oh, you know what? I'm meeting with Jen at 1:00. Would you be available? Because you can just join us. And then, so I ended up showing 3 people at the same time, which was fabulous, which I didn't plan to have a party, but it ended up being a little mini party without any food, but that's okay. But so the appointment, and they all bought the kit.
Yeah.
And one bought the big kit, which really shocked the daylights out of me because she's the one that always complained about not having any money.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Yeah, it works really, really well. And the reason it works well is because it's just telling them the truth, right? We need to take a step back. A lot of you mentioned, people are frustrated or, they have this resistance to network marketing or MLM, right? Well, why is that? Because people, right, the network marketing industry sometimes is a little sneaky, right? So what if we just told them, here's exactly what we're going to go over. Here's how long it's going to take. Right? We're going to remove some pressure, and then we're going to ask for consent. Is that something you'd be open to? And what you'll notice is because they're just people who are trying to solve their problems, is they're like, yeah, that sounds great. And if they say, no, I'm not into it, we can just move on with life and still be friends. Right?
And one of the things that I actually often do when I make the appointment is I ask them to send me a list of any ailments or situations or problems that they're currently experiencing, so that I'm better prepared when I meet with them for what kits I think would be best for them.
Sure. And that's a little bit of an advanced technique, Ruth. So for today, what we'll do is we'll cover these 5 basic concepts.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Just to make sure we don't run out of time at the end.
Okay. Sorry.
All of your insights super great. I mean, obviously we want to hear. Maybe you should run your own workshop, 26 people in 1 month. So all your stuff is awesome.
No, it was.
Yeah, it's cool. It's all good stuff. I just want to make sure we don't go over, because I'm a super undisciplined coach. For those of you that have done any coaching with me, know that I'm over every single time. With 200 people on the line, I promise that I'll lose it at some point. So if you guys can help me stay on track, I would really appreciate it. Is that cool, guys? And
yep, sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. It's great info. Okay, so usually what I do is set up an appointment to go over your health goals and concerns, a little bit about the company, the most popular kits. My part will take about a half an hour. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it. Is that something you'd be open to? How does that feel to everyone? Can you say that? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's keep being edgy, and should we talk about the sampling problem? Yeah, okay. So sampling makes sense, right? It should work. In your experience, does it work as well as it's supposed to? Okay, so Stacy, you're saying no. Jamie's saying no. Should we talk about maybe why? Okay, so how about we go through just a few different scenarios. You tell me what happens in these scenarios, and then we'll talk about what really is the thing that helps you to make the sales. So have you ever given someone a sample and they never use it? And you're like, did you use it now? How about now? How about now? Crystal's laughing all the time, right? Okay, so can we agree that's not the best scenario? Now, when I'm talking about sampling also, I'm not talking about your neighbor who's sick and helping them, right, in a time of need. I'm not talking about good human stuff. I'm talking about like a sample and follow-up sales strategy. Okay, are we on the same page with what we're talking about? Okay, so still like help the person who has the headache. I mean, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying as a sales strategy. Okay, so scenario number 2, you're scrolling through Facebook. I'm your college roommate, and I have a really bad cold. And you're like, yes, here's my chance. And do not pretend that you haven't thought that. Okay, and so you send me a sample of Breathe. I've never heard of essential oils before, so I use your Breathe. What else do I use? What else do I do? Do I only use your Breathe? No? So in the chat, Andrea is saying Vicks, Cold Med, OTC, OTC. Yeah, here's what I do. I take your Breathe, I pour it in my Vicks, and then I rub it all over. And then I take, I know you're mortified, Dayquil, NyQuil, half a bottle of wine, 14 hours of sleep. And then you call me 2 days later, you say, how'd the Breathe work? And what do I say? Go ahead, Catherine. Here, I'm going to unmute you, Catherine.
Great. It worked great.
But do I even know? It might be like, I don't know.
Who knows what it was? I just got better.
And so then how do you respond? Or this is for anyone, not necessarily putting Catherine on the spot.
I don't know. I've never signed anyone up.
What'd you say, Catherine?
I said, I don't know. I have never signed anyone up. I have my
Okay, so
first
you're
meeting
brand
on
new,
Monday.
so welcome. Okay, so they say, I don't know if it worked. It could have been this, or it could have been this, or it could have been this. So how do you respond to that?
You say, no, it was the oils that worked.
Does that work, Jamie?
No, it doesn't work at all.
Okay, so can we agree that that's not a great situation? Okay, scenario number 3, you give me the Breathe, I use it, right? You call me and I say, oh my gosh, this stuff is awesome. I love it. What's my next question? Go ahead, Jamie.
How much is it?
Right? Okay, and then how do you respond?
Well, you can get a membership, or you can buy retail, and you just don't know what to say.
Anyone else run into that, right? It's like this retail wholesale kit class dance. You could do this, or you could do this, or actually it's cheaper if you buy it in kit. Actually, just come to a class. I'm having one in 3 weeks. And I'm like, girl, we're friends. How much is it? And you're like, $55 plus a 1-year membership. And then how do they respond? It's too expensive.
Or with, can't you just give me another sample?
Right. Or I'll just call you later.
Or the first thing you say is, well, and they're like, she doesn't even know how much it is. This girl doesn't know what she's doing.
Yeah. That's not good either, right? So can we agree that's not a great scenario?
Yes.
Okay. So scenario number 4 is you have all given out samples and people have bought kits, right? That has happened, obviously. But what really happened? Give you the sample, works, wholesale kit, class, dance, and then you end up having a conversation, don't you? Okay, well, let's just talk about what's really going on with you. You learn about them, you talk back and forth about their health goals and stuff, right? And then what do? You're like, I think you should get this kit, or this one maybe. And they're like, okay, sounds good, right? Has that happened at, yeah, is that how it goes down?
Yeah, but no, I don't generally give samples, to be honest.
Okay, well then you're the exception, so we're talking about people that do. That's the reason you're enrolling 26 people, Ruth.
I have never sold a kit from giving a sample.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 3 years.
Yeah. So Ruth, I'm addressing everyone else, not your specific scenario. So Andrea, that's a great point, right? It does, like, that's how that goes down. So for those of you that do the sampling strategy, if you were to pass out 10 samples, how many people in your experience have bought? So Andrea says never. For those of you that do give samples, how many bought?
None, or maybe if one, a very small percent.
Okay, so Lily says 0 or 1. Rachel says 2 to 3. Trisha says 3.
I used to give samples, but they never bought.
Okay, so 0, 0. I'm afraid to calculate. Okay, so usually when I ask this question, it's about 1 or 2. And there's a sales principle called the 20-60-20 rule. 20% of people will buy no matter what, 20% won't buy no matter what, and the other 60% is up to you. So those 20% of people that bought off the samples, would they have also bought if you would have said, usually what I do is set up an appointment to go over your health goals, a little bit about the company, the most popular kits. My part takes about 30 minutes. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something like, I'll help you order it. Those people that sampled and bought, wouldn't they probably also have agreed to an appointment? And the people that have bought, right, from your experience, what we have found is most times there's a conversation or an appointment that comes with it. Right? Have you found that? The people that sampled but go to a class, they buy. But the people that sample and you just call, they don't, right? Would you guys agree? Is that your experience? Okay. And so the point is not me saying yes or no to do this. What I really want you to understand is it's the appointment or the conversation that's making the sale. Right? I mean, and you can hear that from the experience. What do you think about that concept? The conversation that you're having, the learning about them and connecting the dots. Is that the thing that's helped you to make sales in the past? Here, Stacy, I got you. Go for it. Go for it.
Oh, I thought that was going to be awesome to be able to do that.
Yeah, cool. Any other thoughts on that? Oh, good. Okay, cool. So that's tip number 1. Set up the appointment. Okay, how do we feel? Good? Awesome. Set up appointments. Cool. Okay, so tip number 2. Tip number 2 is to give an agenda. Give an agenda. And I see a bunch of questions flying in the chat. Kristen, will you write them all down? And once we get to the end, if we have time, I'll answer some of those. Okay, so give an agenda. So at the beginning of your one-on-one or your class, whatever you do, we like one-on-ones just because they're super versatile. Average order goes up, closing percentage goes up. Classes are great too. But we want to just help you to diversify a little bit. And, you know, introverts, you got this. You can do one-on-ones and enroll tons of people. That appointment setting approach I just taught you, could you set up 2 appointments a week with that? Pretty easily, yeah. And our students make sales on an average of about 60 to 80% of their appointments. That'll be 5 enrollments a month. Whose business would be transformed if they had 5 enrollments a month? Cool. All right, so when we're in this appointment, whether it's a one-on-one or it's a class, the first thing we're gonna do is give an agenda. We're gonna tell them exactly what we're gonna cover. What we're gonna cover today is we're gonna talk about your goals, a little bit about the company, the most popular kits, or whatever your agenda is. My part will take about a half an hour. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it today. How does that sound? How do you think giving this agenda makes a customer feel? Go ahead. I don't think your name is actually R. Beavers. I don't want to call you the wrong name, but I'll unmute you. Here you go. Oh, I can't unmute you. Bummer. They see you mouthing to me. Oh, okay. How about someone else? Yeah, I can hear you.
I was just going to say that their time is valued.
Absolutely. What do you think happens to their trust of you when you give an agenda like that?
There's integrity involved.
Totally. Right? We're going to be on the same page. We're just going to tell them the truth. Right? This is what we're going to cover. Now, no one's going to hold a gun to their head and tell them that they have to buy something. So what if we just told them that? That's what they're worried. Like, are you going to let me escape? Right? Think about the resistance. And so what we do is we can say, you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'm going to help you order it today. And you notice how you're all nodding your heads? That's a fair agreement. Now, that's different than me saying, no, you don't have to buy anything. Don't worry. Okay, that's lame and shows lack of confidence in your product. Okay, but confidently saying, you don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it today, is a much different message. When I say you don't have to buy anything, you're like, don't tell me what to do, salesperson. I will buy something if I want to buy something. Right? And when I say, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it today. Now that's their cue to start making a running list of everything that they want to buy that day. Isn't that the place that you want your customer to be?
Yep.
Making a running list, like, okay, cool. And I also set an expectation that if you see something you like, I'll help you order it today. And then yep, that sounds fair. And so that also helps eliminate that think about it concern. So how does that feel? How does tip number 2 feel? Good? Now, are these easy things or hard things to do? These first two tips I've taught you. Easy or hard? What do you think? Super easy.
Easy.
Cool. Can your new people do them? Catherine's brand new. What do you think, Catherine? Could you say those things?
I'm doing it on Monday.
All right. Awesome.
Yay.
Super simple, right? So sales training isn't so bad, is it?
Nope.
All right. Let's carry on. Ready for number 3?
Yep.
Okay. Tip number 3 is gain input. Do people spend $300 on a kit because of your story? Okay, so you guys are saying no. Whose story do they buy because of?
Their own.
That's right. That's right, their own. But what do we start with in a lot of instances?
Our story.
Our story. And what happens to their face? Go ahead, Leilani.
Oh, sorry, I was trying to. Typically, we'll tell them our story, but then we'll also tell them all of our stories and everybody else's stories, and we start telling them too many stories.
And what happens to their face?
They get a look of shock and they get scared and they back away.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't pertain to them.
Totally. Because who is their favorite? What's their favorite thing to talk about?
Themselves.
Yeah. So once you understand that customers are inherently, and you can't say this about customers, but I can because I'm a customer. We're lazy and selfish. Who do we care about?
Yourself.
So who should we talk about?
Them.
Yeah, and I'm going to love that. That's going to be the most engaging conversation I ever have when I talk about myself. So what if instead of starting off, right, with telling them stuff, what do we start off by learning about that?
Yeah.
So right after the agenda, I'll go ahead and mute you now.
Input.
Right after the agenda, we ask these 3 questions. What else do you want to learn about? So I just told them what I'm going to talk about, right? So what else do you want to learn about? Second question, do you guys want to bore them with information they don't care about?
Nope.
So what if we just told them that? I don't want to bore you with information you don't care about, so tell me about your family's health goals and concerns.
Yep.
I like Ruth. She's good for my self-esteem. Thank you. She's like, preach, sister. I love it.
Well, yeah, because my upline, Ellen, took her seminar.
You're Ruth.
I'm Ruth.
Oh
She's Ellen Ruth, and I'm Ruth Ellen.
Oh, I know all about your story. Okay, that just changes. That's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so I read her thing.
Sales training podcast celebrity.
Oh, am I? Thank you.
Yeah, cool. And then the third question is, what do you already know about doTERRA? So, Ruth, I know you have role played this with Ellen a million times. Someone who isn't one of our students, who would be willing to be my customer for a second? For a few minutes. Catherine? Okay, cool. Okay, so you have never heard about essential oils in your life. Just roll with me.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. So, Catherine, what we're going to do today is we're going to go over your health goals, a little bit about the company, and the most popular kits. You don't have to buy anything, but if you see something you like, I'll help you order it today, and my part will take about a half an hour.
Okay.
How does that sound?
Great.
Okay. What else do you want to make sure we go over today?
Oh, see, that's the hard part. I got to be asking these questions.
Just be my customer. Don't.
What? I hear all these great things about essential oils. Like, what can they do for me and my family? And how long does it take for them to work?
Great. Now, I don't want to bore you with information you don't care about, Catherine. Tell me about your family's health goals or concerns, or what the ones you have for you and your family.
I would just like to stay healthy and feel like I have more energy. And then personally, high blood pressure is a health goal that, I would really like to not be on medication for.
What do you mean by staying healthy?
When you start to feel sick, have something that you can kind of stop it in its place so that you're not down and out for a week.
Okay, great. What else?
Energy.
Okay, so I wrote energy, sick, high blood pressure. What else? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you have kids? Are you married or anything?
I do. I have a 3-year-old. Constantly doing her bumps and bruises.
Okay, so I wrote down staying healthy, energy, high blood pressure, 3-year-old stuff.
3-year-old stuff. I guess, yeah, sleep,
Yep.
Angry toddler.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, so I have energy, high blood pressure, stay healthy, bumps and bruises, sleep, anger. Is there anything that I missed?
About sums it up, I guess.
Catherine, what do you already know about doTERRA?
I know that I have a cousin that loves it and speaks highly about it, and there's so much that you can do and so many different options. Where do I start?
Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about doTERRA and how to use essential oils and what they are.
Okay.
Okay, pause, role play. Catherine, you did an awesome job. You were an amazing, amazing customer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. How did that feel?
For me, it felt a little awkward because I have been using doTERRA for a couple of years. So I'm just.
But as a customer.
I felt like you were asking about me. I'm not real good at talking about myself. I'm kind of on the other side of things. So I imagine you feel really good if you weren't afraid to talk about yourself.
Yeah. Well, and it was kind of awkward when I said what else, right? I kept.
Yeah. But you got more out of me.
Yeah, but here's why that's awkward. Because no one does it. When was the last time your best friend, your mom, your spouse said, "How was your day?" And then you said, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." And then you're like, "That's fascinating. What else? Tell me all about it."
Yeah.
Really? What else? When was the last time? Does that happen to you guys on a daily basis? No. And so when we do that for our customers, what message does it send?
You're interested in them.
I actually care. Who got into this business because they love people and want to help people? Yeah. So this is where we prove it. There's one of my favorite quotes, and you'll hear me say it all the time, is by Zig Ziglar. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so to really connect with our customer, we can't start off with how much we know. We need to start off with how much we care. We need to prove it. And the way we prove it is we say, "Tell me about you," right? They're waiting, right? Would it have changed if I were to say, "Oh yeah, I need help with energy too." Or I use this for energy. Would that have changed how that felt?
Yeah.
Nodding your head, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, because it makes it about me now. Or what if I said, "Oh, high blood pressure, we totally have an oil for that."
Show me.
Would that have changed my message to her that I really actually just care? A lot of people will ask a question just to give a response, right? We don't want to do that. We want to stop and we want to actually listen. Right? I'm not going to say, because look at how this feels, right? So she says high blood pressure. "Oh, yeah, we totally have an oil for that." I just shut her down. Right? Or if I go, "Oh, high blood pressure. I had a friend who had high blood pressure." Oh. No, I want to say, "What else? What else?" And then you saw at the end, I summarized for her to make sure I didn't miss anything. And she's like, "Oh, I thought of another one." Right? And now I can personalize my appointment to her scenario. How does that feel to everyone? Good? Okay, awesome. Shall we move to tip number 4? Yeah? Good? Okay. Tip number 4, we're going to personalize the benefits. Okay, so Catherine, you're going to stay my customer. I'm not going to do all of it. I'm going to do some of it. Anybody have a timer handy? Or they can just look at the watch, look at the clock. Okay, so it's 11 o'clock Pacific. Okay, you guys got that time? All right. Catherine, let me show you what comes in our 2 most popular kits. The first oil in your kit is lemon. Have you ever gotten a cold or allergies? You can get that gross stuff in the back of your throat?
Yes.
Okay, so put a drop of lemon in your green tea, and that'll take care of that right away. You mentioned you have a 3-year-old. Is it a boy or a girl?
Girl.
Sorry, girl. Does she ever put stickers on your furniture or your car? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what you use to take those off.
Or her skin.
Yeah.
She likes them all over her legs.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Those are a little easier to get off, but I noticed the furniture is the hardest. But this lemon, this is what you'll be able to use for that.
Okay.
How does that one sound?
Great.
Awesome. The next oil in your kit is lavender. Earlier you mentioned sleep. This is one that you'll want to diffuse at nighttime or put on the bottoms of your or your daughter's feet to help calm down. Do you ever get stressed out being a mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is great, and you're starting your own business on Monday, I hear.
Yes.
So do you get a little anxious about it?
Yes.
Okay. So
well, I just feel like I'm soaking it all in. So
yeah. Okay. Right. So lavender is great to help you feel more calm, right? Help kind of deal with some of that stress, help you to sleep. You mentioned your daughter gets bumps and bruises and stuff. So if she ever gets a scrape, you can mix this with Melaleuca, and that'll help with that. It's also great for sunburns, summertime.
Oh, yes.
The next oil in your kit is peppermint. Earlier you mentioned energy. Do you ever look at your alarm clock in the morning and it goes off and you're like, I hate you?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would recommend, put a little bottle of peppermint right next to your alarm clock. When it goes off, put a drop in your hand, take 3 big whiffs like I showed you earlier, and that'll open up those airways, make you more alert, and you might actually do your morning workout. Does your daughter ever scream incessantly because you've asked her to put on shoes?
Sure.
If you get a headache from that, this is great for that.
Okay.
How does that one sound?
Good.
Okay, pause. How do we do?
You asking me? Yes. Good. Good. What if someone comes up with because I have read that when you have high blood pressure, you should stay away from peppermint. I know the doTERRA oils aren't really your thing, but how would you address that?
I mean, I would address it afterwards, right? I just keep it in the back of my mind.
Okay.
So really at the end, briefly, if I have something, I'm trying to think of how to explain this fast. If you have a specific health issue, right? I think everyone needs a Family Essentials and a Home Essentials, period.
Right.
So what I would do is at the end say, okay, let me go ahead and, get the list of the high blood pressure things, and then you'll be able to kind of go from there.
Okay.
For the specific concerns, use the app or the book or something like that.
Okay.
That way you don't have to feel that stress of knowing every single thing.
Right. Yeah.
We would recommend we stick with the top 10. After the top 10, say, now let's talk a little about the blood pressure stuff. Whatever you pull up is going to give you those warnings.
Right.
Likely, and then you can troubleshoot from there and improvise. Okay. So Catherine, do you want to buy those oils that we talked about?
That would be great.
No, this is not a role play. This is just like your experience as a customer.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think they'd be very helpful.
Cool. So how long did that take me to explain those 3 oils?
It was 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Some of you were skeptical about my 30-minute time frame, weren't you? Because does she want to know every single use ever? Will she remember? So what I did is I just explained a couple of common uses, right? That would be everyday things that she would run into. Now there's going to be some where she's not going to use them every day. I'm just going to tell her the truth, right? This Digest Zen you might not use every day. I don't know if it is linked to blood pressure caveat, but let's pretend you never said high blood pressure for the sake of mother of all webinars. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. So this Digest Zen is not necessarily one you might use every day. You're going to be really glad you have it when you eat half a pizza at a Super Bowl party, or if your daughter ODs on Halloween candy. Okay, you see how she's nodding her head? She's with me. I don't need to give her every use. I just need to give her a couple. When she nods her head, it means she's with me, she gets it, she's in, and we can move on. We want to keep it really, really simple. So how's that? Tip number 4, is that good? Awesome. Okay, tip number 5. Let's make it easy to buy with the choice of 2. So I get to the end. All right, Catherine, it's time to buy. And then I bust out my enrollment kit flyer sheets. How does that, and you've never heard of essential oils, how does that make you feel? Stacy like banged her head on her.
Overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. And now you have to do what?
Like decide what I want and how much I can spend.
Which means you need to go home and?
Talk to my spouse.
That's right. Who's causing the spouse concern?
You are.
You are. Because it's just too complicated. It's a lot, right? This is a huge decision. And so I can't possibly make such a huge decision right now. So I need to think about it, or I need to consult the love of my life. Now, that's not a fair shake for the husband, is it? He wasn't there. He has no clue. And so we know how that conversation typically goes down, right? And it's just too hard of a decision for someone to make. And confused customers don't buy. Remember, our goal is to help them to get a kit on their dresser. So what we want to do is we give them a choice of 2. Now, and then we basically just give 2 at a time. So it's easy for them to choose. So which 2 kits that you ultimately decide to show, that's up to you. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to use the home essentials and the family essentials. Is that okay? Okay. So what if instead of giving her all the options, I just said we can do smaller bottles for $150 or bigger bottles and a diffuser for $275. Which one would work better for you? Smaller or bigger bottles? I see Paula, you're not Paula's nodding your head. What's happening in your brain right now, Paula? Oh, I unmuted you.
I know, I tried to do. Well, because I feel like when we were talking about salesmen and stuff earlier, is that if I'm being a good listener and I truly want you to get the best deal, that's me helping you get the best deal, but also putting the decision into your hands, not me saying, well, listen, this is the best deal. I want you to get this kit because it's triple the amount of oils for only double the price, which is what I've said before. So I like that you're still presenting them the best deal, but putting the decision in there.
Totally. People want control. Has anyone here ever tried to get a toddler to eat something? Right? What happens when we give a toddler one choice? Mine
They choose refusing.
Mine lays on the ground and cleans the floor with her hair. Welcome. Okay. We all know how to get a toddler to eat. What do?
Bribe them.
Well, that too. Candy after. Right? We give them a choice of 2. We have a much better chance that they'll actually eat. And aren't we just overgrown toddlers to some extent? Right? So we want to make it easy to buy with a choice of 2. Right? Now, if that's still out of their budget, no big deal. We're just going to give them 2 more options that they can choose from. I love like the intro kit and the travel kit. Those are great, right? Because we're talking about turning a no sale into a sale. Obviously, it's better that they get a kit, right? But if that's still out of their price range, no worries. We have a couple other options that we can show you, and we'll give them 2 more until they feel comfortable. And then we might have to improvise after that, right? But the idea is, instead of giving them a choice of 10 kits, let's just make it easy for them with a choice of 2. How does that feel? That feel good? Okay, so earlier I have in my notebook all the lists of reasons people don't buy. Should we see if they still hold up? Okay, so we talked about we're going to set appointments, give an agenda, gain input, personalize the benefits, and number 5 is choice of 2. Okay, so if you just went through that process, right, for the most part, so let's not, I mean, we're not talking about outliers, right? Our goal is like 60 to 80% of people. Okay, so we're not talking about outliers here. Do you need to talk to your spouse? What do you think? No? Okay. Do you need to think about it? Are you like, money's too tight, I can't afford anything? No. Do you need to research what we talked about? Are you wondering if it works? Do you only want 1 or 2 of those?
Yep.
You want all of them. Are you overwhelmed? Do you want to go buy it somewhere else? Doesn't even cross your mind, does it?
No.
Are you worried about a $35 fee?
No.
Yes, if you don't want a kit.
Yeah, but most people do. We're talking about 60 to 80%, right? We can improvise after that. Are you worried about people not becoming a hippie? That was someone else that said that, not me, by the way. But does that concern come up for you? Are you worried I'm going to convince you to sell stuff? Make you feel, no? Are you worried you won't be able to use them and you won't know how? So wait, you have no objections at the end?
Are you asking me personally?
Well, just the group, no.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that we could come up with some of those objections.
Right, but for the most part, right, have we eliminated most of them? What does the group think? We're talking about 60 to 80%. We're not talking about the 20% that won't buy. Okay, remember that formula earlier? 20 will, 20 won't, 60% is up to you. Right, so what we're trying to move from is this 10 to 20% closing percentage that a lot of people have to the 50 plus. Right, so for the most part, do I have any objections left?
Nope.
All right, cool.
Booyah.
Boom. All right. And so for those of you that are like, I don't know, if you are students of ours, if you would humor me and pop your closing percentage in the chat, I think I'd be grateful. I think everyone else would be grateful to hear what's up. Okay, so those are the 5 tips. So did I earn my right to show you my program or our program? Okay, cool. Because we obviously can't go over everything in an hour. Okay, so let me pull up this little keynote thing. That's not the one I want. Here it is. Okay, you might be sad because the training is about to end. And so we have a quote from you, from Barney, from How I Met Your Mother. When I'm sad, I stop being sad and I be awesome instead. So the next step would be to learn the foundational skills for selling and leading with our support. And what makes Emerge different than all the other network marketing companies, training companies out there, is not what works for me, it just works, period. Works for everybody. Has a deep foundation, and the reason it works for everybody is it has a deep foundation in science and customer psychology. Everything we teach is well read and well researched. We're actually here for you. We're not a group of people who are just trying to generate passive income while we live on our private island. We want nothing more than to be face-to-face with you on a Zoom call and just talk to you and answer your questions and troubleshoot and go through that stuff with you, just like we did today. And I'll do a little Q&A at the end if you guys would like. And it's built for people with no sales experience. If you've never sold anything, you'll be able to easily implement and execute the communication approaches that we teach. And if you have tons of sales experience and you're amazing, it might be hard for you to teach others. And so because of that, the way the course is broken down is going to help you to teach other people. And this is not a system like a lot of you might be familiar with. It's a skill development program. So we're going to teach you how to talk to people. So we have this little skills assessment here. These are the skills we talk about. We talk about time management. So do you do what you say you're going to do? Do you have a plan for each week? Do you stay focused on your priorities? So we're going to teach you how to do that. Setting appointments. Do you reach your appointment setting goals on a weekly basis? So we're going to teach you the skill of setting appointments, increasing show rate, things like that. Closing percentage, our target is between 60 and 80%. And so we're going to help you to develop that skill. Average order, our goal is that most people will get a kit. And so we're going to help you develop that skill, those skills on how to have a high average order, because we believe that the kits are going to really help people in the long run. Customer retention, are people reordering the following month and beyond? Are you calling them? Do you even know what to say when you call your previous customers? We're going to teach you that. Your wellness consult, what doTERRA calls a wellness consult, we're going to ninja that up for you to really increase the percentage of people that decide to go on LRP. And we teach all that in the customer retention modules. Referrals, we know that when you start with your warm market, we don't want you to run out of people. So we're going to teach you how to earn referrals consistently and how to explain hosting classes so that your people really want to do that. Kristen, can you mute that background noise for me, please? Skill 7 is recruiting. So we're going to take all the concepts that you learned in the first 6 modules, and we're going to apply those to recruiting. And then we're going to teach you some basic coaching skills. So we really believe that, you know, the network marketing job, to be successful, you have to be able to sell and you have to be able to teach people how to sell. So we do have 2 programs. One's the Direct Sales Foundation. This is the first step. And then after that, we have a leadership course that's going to help you to lead your team. So those are the skills that we teach in this program. Who here feels that their business would be transformed if you learned these skills? Cool. Awesome. I love it. Okay, so let's go back here. We also just want to make sure that, so all those things, they're in online modules, so you can watch them on your own time. But did you know that online training programs have a 3% completion rate? That means out of the 150 people that are on this call, like 5 people would finish. That's not okay with me. And so really what we recommend, while you can take just the online, is we recommend the group coaching. And so the way the group coaching works is you'll meet with a coach. Every group has a coach assigned. And so every week there'll be a live 1-hour Zoom call to troubleshoot, personalize, unpack wins so that people know how to be successful. We also have a Facebook group where you can ask any question and we'll make sure that a coach chimes in and have different challenges. And that really the purpose of this is to make sure you finish, to make sure you're supported, to make sure that any obstacle that you have as you complete your coursework and training, and just whatever troubleshooting you need, that gets addressed as you go through your program. And so basically what you do is you watch the online videos in the week, and then you'll troubleshoot in the Zoom calls. Now, you're probably thinking right now, this sounds awesome, but how much? Because online courses in the industry, online courses typically run for about $1,000. When you add in live group support for 2 months, you're looking at another $1,000 for live support. And so the market value of this course is like $2,000. But our mission and our vision for Emerge is to give hope and confidence to every single person, no matter what their rank is. And so we kind of do everything backwards. The entire program with the online courses, lifetime access, plus the group coaching, 9 weeks, is $297. And the reason we price it there is we want to make sure that it's accessible to everyone, no matter what. We also can split it up into 4 monthly payments of $75 so that it can fit in really, that's my husband don't kill me option, I think, for those of you that are familiar with that phrase. So it's $297. There's no interest on the payment plan. It's just rounded to 300 just because the system wouldn't take that. So I'm going to show you how to register in a minute. For those of you that are on your first webinar, and we can tell from the registration, we have a doTERRA bonus package. And so what that package is a lot of times people, you know, the Direct Sales Foundation is a fundamental course. Okay. So it's a foundational course to help you learn the principles and the concepts of how customers think and how to communicate with them. So the couple questions always come up. How do I sell the Natural Solutions Kit without overwhelming people? How do I sell Lifelong Vitality consistently, because it's a big seller? And then how do I close at big classes? And so it would be kind of overwhelming to put that in the basic course. And so we created an additional course that people can pick up. It's typically $60. But if you register by Sunday, then we will add that course to you for free, to your profile for free. So it's an incentive to pay in full and to move sooner rather than later. Now, I know there are going to be some people that are watching the replay. You can use this replay if you'd like as a training tool for your team. And so if someone is watching the replay and the 725 group is already passed, you can visit emergeSalesTraining.com/upcoming events to see when our group will be starting. If you register for this webinar, watching the replay, and it's within those 3 days, email us at team@emergeSalesTraining.com, and we will verify whether or not you're eligible for that fast action bonus. And then I'll just go over a couple frequently asked questions, and then I'll open it up for any questions that you have about the course. And after those, then I'll answer any content questions that were kind of sticking out there until we're done. So when can you start watching the videos? You can start watching the videos right away. So I'm going to show you the link. So you can go to the link, and I think Kristen's probably already posted in the chat. If you're already planning on registering, I would register for it right now because you don't want to forget. But you can watch all the online videos in like 6 hours. So if you really wanted to go hardcore, you could register today. It's 11:30 on the West Coast, and you can watch, well, I think we've all binged Netflix at some point, 6 hours straight. So if you wanted to, you could watch everything because a lot of you are already in the business. You don't have to go week by week, but you can. You have lifetime access to the course. That means 6 months from now, you can always go back and revisit different concepts. The group coaching, if you can't make it live, no worries. We have everything recorded. So that way you can catch it if you're working or if you miss one. We really stand behind our program. So if you watch the first 4 weeks in the first month and you don't think it's worth it and you implement it, then we'll give a refund, but we don't get people that say that. We do not have an affiliate program, so everyone wants to know that. And the reason there's 2 reasons. We want our leaders to just recommend it because we know it's going to help people. We want to take out that idea, but also we want to make sure that our course is affordable for everyone. And so if we had an affiliate program, we'd have to raise our prices. But not good. It's going to price out the people. As far as what you need to implement this program, there's no ongoing materials that you need. You would need a planner. We really recommend having profit and loss software as a business owner. And we probably need roller bottles, but I think you guys have that already. Who is coaching the group? So we have a team of 9 coaches that manage different group coaching functions. My role in the business is to create content. I do a little bit of one-on-one coaching, a little bit of leadership group coaching in these webinars. So we have coaches that are super qualified, and if you have a question that stumps them, don't worry, we'll get it taken care of. We have a team of coaches that will take really good care of you. And then the last question is, can I switch groups? Please don't. Stick with your group. The goal is to stick with it. If life happens, you have access to the recordings. You know, for the $297 price point, we are going to say stay in your group. If you want to add an additional group, you're welcome to, and our team can help you with that. But we don't do the switching of the groups because that would just get really, really crazy. So those are the frequently asked questions. Let me go ahead and stop the share. Let me just show you exactly how to register. So this is the link Kristen put in the chat, mergesalestraining.com 713 team. And so the replay is going to go here, but you can just click Buy Direct Sales Foundation. You can pick online or you can pick group. We really recommend
Actually, you need to refresh that just to show the right group.
Oh, okay. Did you change them?
Yeah, I changed them. I just forgot to tell you.
Okay. So let's say I want to do the one that starts next week on the 19th. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. Right now, I'm just going to put in my own account for the sake of simplicity. Right, and then I'm going to go right here, put in the credit card number, and then it'll kick me right to the course. So I can start watching videos and going through the content right away. And then you can consume as much as you want. And then the first group coaching is like an orientation. And it'll give you instructions on how to join the group coaching, and it'll give you instructions on how to join the Facebook group. Okay, so I'll go ahead and open it up for any questions. Holly, do you have what questions do you have? Either about, we'll start with questions about enrolling in the course, and then we'll take any content questions. Or Kristen, if you have a list of questions, you can. What questions do we have?
Is there a certain spot that you would have to choose that doTERRA package?
No, Kristen's going to run a list on Monday of everyone who's registered for this webinar and registered for the course, and then we'll hook you up. Now, if this is your 17th webinar, you can't get the fast action.
Mine?
No, just people in general.
What does that mean?
I mean, well, it's a fast action bonus, right? So that means each person is eligible for the fast action bonus for their first webinar that they.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and we have until Sunday to do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, Crystal, just register and then just wait for the doTERRA upgrade on probably Monday or Tuesday. It will just add it to your dashboard. You'll see it when you log in. You won't need that content until you complete a week 4 material, because you'll need the basics of how to do the sales presentation, and then the natural solution stuff you'll layer into that. So we'll get it to you on.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Because it's the summertime, I was wondering if you have another set of these programs. Like, in other words, there's 6 of them, right? Do you have the next set available, or would we would have to sign up for the first set? Like,
I mean, we schedule out the next couple of weeks because we have to see what our webinar registrations and stuff are. So if what you can do, Ruth, is you can sign up for online only, and then you can add the group coaching later. You just won't be eligible for the fast action bonus. So the fast action bonus is to get you going.
So the online only means you could watch it whenever you wanted to.
You can still watch it whatever you want to, but you just won't have the group support. So you won't have people to ask questions to in the same way. You won't have the additional content that we give.
No, that's not.
You'll probably want that.
Yeah.
So you'll
I
just make your decision.
I just didn't know if you had like 2 sets of these programs for people to choose from. Like, you had a set for July and a set for August.
We don't have August scheduled out yet.
Okay, so that's not an option.
Yeah, I mean, it is an option for later. Kristen, what's the latest we have built?
The latest we have built is 7/27.
Okay. So Kristen, can you just get with maybe Ruth offline and see if we can help her out?
Sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now I lost all the questions. Stephanie, go ahead.
I just want to mention, because you said that you can record everything's recorded so you can watch it later on. I just also wanted to mention that I really liked how even the coaching calls were recorded. So if for some reason you couldn't be there, you could still watch it later. It's not, obviously you can't ask questions, it's not interactive, but it'll still be there so you won't miss it.
Cool. Thanks, Stephanie. Okay, so one content question, if they're persistent about knowing how much it is, the best response if a customer is persistent is to just give a range. We have kits that range anywhere from $200 to $1,000. We'll just figure out what makes the best sense for you in the appointment. That usually does that. Classes come in, we have to know our oils. How much do you need to know your oils? So for those of you that have been on different webinars, I use the same scenarios every single one, even though it appears that they're personalized. So what I would recommend is that work with your upline on the product knowledge to know 2 to 3 to 4 really common scenarios for each one, and use your book or app to get the rest. If you still get people who don't want to spend that much money, that's up to them. We're shooting for a 60 to 80% closing percentage. Coaching calls. Is there time for one-on-one attention? So in group coaching at this price, we don't, but if you want to look into one-on-one coaching, we do have one-on-one coaching options. So Kristen, can you write her name down and we can have a one-on-one coach? Missy's on the call. Missy somewhere. Maybe she had to hop off or something else. We can have a one-on-one coach call you and talk about what that looks like. If that would that be helpful for you? Is that what you're looking for? Or I don't know who asked that. Beavers. I don't know what your first name is, Beavers. Group support. You want group. You do
Tasha?
want group.
Also, in regard to one-on-one coaching, when I took the program, I personally got made a lot of friends and got one-on-one coaching from the people in the group, and it was really helpful.
That's cool. Thank you, Stephanie. Do I recommend a software program? We just recommend like profit and loss. Yeah, QuickBooks Self-Employed is $10. We have a link in the course where I think you can get it for 50% off for the first 6 months, and so it becomes $5. You want to have a separate business account, right? So we're got to switch from hobby to business. So set up the separate business account, and then it'll take your transactions. You can categorize it well, and it'll run the profit and loss. And even in my business, which is pretty humongous now, I use QuickBooks Self-Employed. It's super cheap. And once you know, and you can start looking, and we have a module in there on how to analyze your profit and loss, so you're making a good business decisions and kind of what things to think about with your investments. The website to register is emergesalestraining.com/713team. And then for those of you that want to start later, don't start now. That was unprofessional.
That's okay.
Not cool at all.
That was cool.
That was not cool. And I tell everyone to be cool. Start now, because if you're in your business, right, there's kind of 2 ways to look at it. So if it's summertime and you're in your business, you have to know the stuff.
Right.
If you're out of your business, right, and you're taking a break until your kids go back to school, then you can learn the stuff. So when you start being active again, you're in good shape, right? So in order the time commitment to do the program is about an hour for the videos and an hour for the Zoom call. So everything, you can download the videos on your MP3 while you're doing your laundry, right? You can, it's built for network marketers. And so we just, yeah, I mean, how many of you that took the course wish you knew about it when you started? Right? And you're going to take the course and you're going to go, I wish I knew this yesterday. And I'm not saying that because I'm selling the course. I'm saying that because that's what everybody says every single day. Yeah, so we just want you to help your customers. And you're gonna, if it's summertime, guess what you're doing? You're going on vacation, you're going on play dates, you're doing stuff, and you're gonna run face to face on a plane with someone while you're on vacation, and they're gonna ask you what you're gonna do, and you're not gonna know what to say. And you're gonna say, what did they say in that? I should have taken that thing. So that's my thought. Narissa wants to know, do we cover social media? Not really. So this is a sales course, right? This is about talking to people, one-on-one classes. What I will say about social media is people on social media are humans. So when you start implementing this customer-centric language, whatever you do on social media will start to have a different feel, because you'll be having conversations and you'll be coming across more authentically. QuickBooks Self-Employed is the one that we use.
QuickBooks Self-Employed. Got it.
QuickBooks Self-Employed. And we do have a discount link in the course. I hope we still have a discount link.
You said emergesalestraining.com/713team. /713
team. TEAM.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry.
And does anyone on the call have like, is their upline one of our one-on-one clients?
What does that mean?
I
don't know.
We do
Forget it.
one-on-one coaching. If your upline is a one-on-one client, and Ruth, yours is.
Okay, because she's
check with
training.
Ellen on any other partnerships that we might have with them.
Okay. What does that mean, though? What does that mean? Like,
she'll know what it means. Just ask Ellen.
Okay, ask Ellen about one-on-one partnerships.
Yeah, ask about a partnership. Yeah, so if you have Jackie, if Jackie Ritz is your upline, get with Jackie. She'll hook you up with some goods.
Okay.
All right, cool. So just if anyone's doing one-on-one coaching with us, just get with them, or has done one-on-one coaching in the past with us, then we have a partnership with them, and so you can get with them for just the details on that and how that can help you.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I'll take an extra few minutes for those of you guys that are staying strong with me. Any other questions?
I just wanted to know how, like, you told someone to talk to me. Do I just wait until later, or is she gonna call me, or do I just stay and wait?
Kristen, what are you gonna do? Email her? Kristen says she'll email you.
Okay.
Cool. Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Thank you, Tasha.
Thank you guys. Thank you for
Yes.
coming.
Thank you, Tasha, and thank you for your patience.
Oh, you're welcome.
I know I talk a lot.
Yeah, so Ruth's story. So Ellen, this interview I did with Ellen, her upline is the most listened to podcast ever, and we tell the story of how Ruth killed it in her first month back. So it's cool.
Really?
You haven't listened to the podcast? It has like 5,000.
No, I really got. I hurt my back, and I'm laying down now.
Yep.
I've literally been out of commission since June.
Oh yeah, you're an emerged celebrity. You don't even know it. You know what
No.
I'm talking about, Rachel Strickland?
Yeah, she doesn't know it. We know you, Ruth.
Hi, I'm sorry, I didn't know anybody.
Yeah, we all know your amazing story, so it's good to put it together. Yeah, Ellen's podcast is the most popular podcast in the history of Emerge.
Those are the best kind of celebrities that don't even know it.
Yeah, it makes me feel amazing, by the way. All right, have a great day, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Tasha.